Hey, greetings from the boogie down South Bronx. This is Jeff Cortez. I'll be reading from my novel, Memoirs of Pastor Rajatabla, Pentecostal Private Eye. Be reading chapter 2, a description of what the book is about and its intention. You will find in the link, as well as the link to where you could purchase a copy for yourself, whether it be paperback or Kindle or ebook. All right, so I'm going to be reading chapter 2. Just a reminder, a quick key to understand the setup of the book. Raja, which is the main character, is a pastor of a small Spanish Pentecostal church, and he is often approached by members of other congregations to help with a particular concern happening in their community or in the church community, whether it be actual incidences or just gossip that they need to have resolved. So he, out of the goodness of his heart, he investigates, and Raja, after he investigates, he writes in his journal, which he has nicknamed Tabla. So whenever he goes through an investigation, he writes in his journal, Dear Tabla. So that's the inside joke of Rajatabla. All right, so chapter 2, the title is The Lord Squeezes but Doesn't Strangle. And the scripture from Leviticus is, show your fear of God, but not taking advantage of each other. I am the Lord your God. Okay, so let's start the reading. Raja and his wife Tesoro at times would discuss and encourage each other on their ministerial choice of purposely pastoring a small congregation. Often these tiny storefront churches weren't financially sustainable to hire a full-time clergy, nor even pay the lease. At times, Raja was approached by board members of large, well-to-do churches and offered a full-time lead pastor position with attractive benefits. Presbyter Santos approached Raja seeking assistance in locating a missing pastoral family from a nearby fast-growing church fellowship. The congregation had been very confused, especially when learning that their pastor, Saul, had reappeared as a hospitalized patient with his family nowhere to be found. Missing persons flyers were being made and spread out around neighborhoods with Raja's phone number without his consent. Late one evening, Raja received a phone call from the missing wife's brother, his brother-in-law, the hospitalized pastor's brother-in-law. It turned out that Pastor Saul was hospitalized in the mental center and unit floor where Raja had worked as a psychiatric social worker. Dear Tabla, I used my credentials to enter the hospital's psychiatric ward and compassionately confronted mental health inpatient Pastor Saul. He had intentionally admitted himself as a suicidal person as a ploy to get sympathy from church members and locate his family. The man had been abusing substances as well as abusing his wife. The dangerously mistreated wife ran off with the kids to another state into a shelter for victims of domestic violence. Pastor Saul, not his real name, and his wife, a couple of years earlier, came to our home to invite us to be co-pastors. Although an attractive offer with a nice financial income, we respectfully declined because our hearts were to pursue serving families impacted by substance abuse and domestic violence. Little did Tesoro and I know how prophetic this moment was. It was not the first time nor last time we would, in retrospect, realize how things we have said in an effort to counsel or engage in innocent conversation would be prophetic opportunities for friends to turn away from tragic events. So there I was with a surprised, wide-eyed Saul in a psych ward where I had previously worked as an assistant psychiatric social worker. Saul offered me his church, which I'm sure had insidious strings attached. I informed him that I was never interested in ministerial, political, self-promotional moves, but mostly cared about the flock. His flock was now very confused and overwhelmed. I shared my plan under much prayer, encouraged him to focus on his total, non-rushed recovery, and that I would give the church members safe passage to other healthy fellowships. It was hard to do, but who was I to disobey the burning lead of the Lord, who has always kept me safe in the eye of storms? Some of my friends jokingly call me the Lord's stealth Darth Vader. I'm not thrilled with the title, but at times it makes me laugh. How did Saul react? What could he do? Looks like although he was acting crazy like a sly fox, the true shepherd had him in a tight straitjacket. Like the old Spanish adage goes, El Señor aprieta, pero no ahoga. The Lord squeezes, but doesn't strangle. And that's the end of chapter 2.